Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we are here to take a look at the top 10 new to me movies that I watched in October. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so this list is this is separate from my 31 days of horror challenge, my October list challenge. So I watched all those movies. This is a separate list. This is stuff that is new to me in one way or another. Like I hadn't seen it in one way or another. So I'm just gonna do the top 10 because we watched so much stuff in October. I'd never be able to go over it all, and you have my list videos for that. And I do have these ranked from like the least favorite thing to the most favorite thing that I watched, and I'll kind of explain why each one's there. But starting at number 10 is one that I saw for the first time, Satan's Little Helper. Now, I got to admit that I had heard about this from some other YouTube channels, like Daniel at Cobwebs. It's talked about this one a couple times. Some other people talked about this one. And when I heard that it had Catherine Winnick in it, and I was looking for, some different types of movies that had to do with Halloween, and I picked this one up, and from Orbit with this nice slip, and I realized that I had kind of seen it in bits and pieces, so this one's kind of a little bit of a cheat, and I had remembered it because I was a huge fan of Catherine Winnick, who's absolutely beautiful in this, and I first saw her in Vikings, the TV show, which I loved. And this movie is about a little boy who's obsessed with this game and the devil, and it's on Halloween. And he dresses like the devil, and he meets this serial killer who is dressed like the devil. And it has a lot of Halloween vibes to it, which is very cool. And of course, Catherine Winnick is pretty. It's one that I watched, and I gotta admit, I was a little distracted when watching it. And the first time, I think, like I said, I saw it in bits and pieces. So I really need to just sit down when things calm down a little bit and give this one another run, because y'all know how I am about atmosphere. I like atmosphere. So this one's fun. I'm glad to own it in the collection. It comes in at number 10 on my list. At number 9 on my list is another one that I gotta give another run. I think I mentioned this one in another video. I had never heard of this movie, but I saw that it had Allison Hannigan in it, who, from American Pie, but I knew her before that from, of course, she's in My Stepmother's an Alien, right? A long time ago, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer, huge Buffy fan. And I'm talking about You Might Be the Killer. This is a very interesting film. Now, this is a region locked B Blu-ray that I pre-ordered a long time ago from Orbit and just got, and it has this guy, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he is from Cabin in the Woods. He's the stoner guy from Cabin in the Woods, and I'll just kind of read it to you. It says, You Might Be the Killer is the story of Sam Fran Kranz. That's the guy's name. A regular guy who finds himself on the run from a mass serial killer known as the Woodcarver. Now, he calls his friend, who's played by Allison Hannigan, who's like a horror aficionado, and she's trying to help him survive this and figure it out. But as things keep going, she kind of narrows in on the fact that maybe he himself is the killer. So it's got a very meta kind of way about it. It very, very much blends in with like a Cabin in the Woods style movie. This is another one I need to sit down and watch again. I think this one will be much higher on my list upon a second viewing of this movie. I just can't like recommend it to you 100%. Because I need to, revisit it myself. But I think this one has a chance to move way up higher on this list upon other viewings. So this is not a low budget schlocky movie at all. This film had a good budget. I'm not really sure why it's not more widely known, but You Might Be the Killer comes in at number 9 on this list. At number 8 on this list is one you guys are going to be shocked about. I am talking about Terrifier 2. Now, I got this 4K steelbook pretty cheap a while back. I had not seen this. I saw the first one and All Hallows Eve. I had not seen Terrifier 2. My son, who just turned 14, despite he got into all these, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Despite the fact that I know like the Fuzz on the Lens guys and Michael Levy, who's one of the producers on these films, and we've worked together before and all that kind of stuff. I had just never seen this movie. I'd heard this one had a better story to it and everything, and my son said the same thing. So here I am trying to watch it in preparation for us to go see part 3. Even though, these movies are not necessarily my thing because of like I'm just not an over the top like gore torture. This isn't really like into torture, but like the over the top gore. I don't know. It's never found the mark with me the same way as it has a lot of people. I did like this one way better than the first one. Way better. This one has way more of a story to it, in my opinion. Maybe a little long, but I'm not one that complains about long movies generally. So I like this one a lot better. And me and my son were getting ready to go and see this part 3 after I watched this. And we were going to an NGC cinema, and the movie part 3 is unrated. So they said because it's not rated, their movie theater chain decided to make the movie basically the equivalent of NC-17. So no children under 17. Even though that's not the rating at all, they decided to do that. So we haven't been able to get to an AMC theater, which I understand is not doing that, because that's really applying a rating that doesn't exist. And I'm his father, and I make horror movies and everything. If I decide I want him to see it, or he's allowed to see it, he's allowed to see it. My kids have a whole different perspective on that because I make horror movies, and they've grown up with me making horror movies. So it's way different. But I like this one much better than the first one. So I'm interested to see the third one, and hopefully we can see it here before Christmas and see if it pops up on some of my Christmas horror movie lists that'll be coming. But Terrifier 2 comes in at number 8 on my list. At number 7 on my list was Invisible Maniac. Now, I got this a while back when they did the out of print sale, and you could order a couple things, and I didn't have to pay for this because I had points. And they brought this back with the slip, and this is a 4K. Now, there's another slip where she's completely nude when it lenticular, and I'd love to have that slip because I think it's cool. I actually enjoyed this movie way better than I thought I was going to. Yes, it's low budget, kind of schlocky. The 4K looks great. The movie's shot uncinematically for the most part. It's very much like what I call straight up. Like the camera a lot of times is on, it's like on a tripod or something, and it's just locked off. And the frame ups of stuff is not very cinematic, just very straight, very plain on, almost like soap opera-y kind of. But the concept of the movie is this guy invents the ability, he's a horn dog from the very beginning, even as a child. He's like spying on this woman undressing all the way through the opening credits. And his mom gets him, and, he's basically punished for being a horny kid. And so he's always, sex is bad, sex is bad. He grows up, he invents the ability to become invisible, and he's teaching summer school. They use summer school because otherwise the school is completely empty except for these people in like this one class. And he uses it to, of course, go and spy on beautiful women in locker rooms and stuff like that. and he snaps and becomes a killer too. It's fun. It's one of the better like blind buy films from Vinegar Syndrome that I've had. I definitely want that. The collector in me wants that other lenticular cover, and I mean it's a little naughty. That's always a little fun, but it's sort of like a teenage boy's fantasy in a way until it turns bad. Of like, oh, I'm invisible and I can go into the girls' locker room. But then it turns not good, and he becomes a killer. And I don't know, it's ridiculous, but it's fun. It's one of those that you watch with your friends, and you laugh and you point. It's bordering on that so bad it's good type situation, which I kind of don't like, because if you consider something good, it's not bad. Doesn't matter how you enjoy a movie if you enjoy it. But I enjoyed Invisible Maniac. I'm glad to have it. I didn't have to pay for it at all, so you can't beat that. I do want that lenticular cover, so if anybody out there knows that, where I can find that or has one, hit me up, and I would like to get it. I am still technically on my buying freeze. Like, I got Trick or Treat recently. That's my mom. But I am trying not to buy so much stuff, but I know it's coming. I know it's coming where I'm going to have to buy some things. But there's a downside. This is a little aside. If you're ever on a buying freeze and you're a collector, unless you are ready to basically forego buying all the stuff that you didn't buy when you were on your buying freeze, all you're doing is moving when you pay for it and risking having to pay more for it later, because stuff that's coming out, I'm still going to want it whether I start buying again now or 2 months from now. So it's just when you buy it. I'm taking everything that I make from YouTube right now to pay for my house repairs, which is not much. YouTube doesn't pay a ton, guys, but I got like $10,000 in house repairs that I'm trying to cover so I can get back to buying. I got to get an OLED so I can more properly review 4Ks for everybody. But Invisible Maniac, I had a hell of a lot of fun with, and I think you will too. Comes in at number 7. At number 6 on my list is another one that's a little bit naughty here. Let me turn a little more light on here for you guys. I'm getting a little dark. It's really dark. It's very fall looking outside in Georgia the last few days. Very gray, overcast, and all that kind of stuff. Let's see if that helps just a little bit there. Woo! I got bright. This one's a little dirty, and this is Tinto Brass. Tinto Brass, however you say his name, is Cheeky, and I think this movie is fun. He's involved with Caligula. He's very famous for like naked girl type movies. Something about this one, of course, the lead actress is beautiful in this, but there's something cheerful and just something that sucks you in about the cinematography, and not just because they're showing her naked. There's something different about this that has a different tone than all of his other movies. And, she's basically a sex crazed girl and thinks it's funny to flash guys. And apparently people flash a lot of people around where she's at. And this is I got to be careful. I'm not sure what I can and can't show. But this is a limited edition set. And when his stuff goes out of 4K, when you can't get it anymore, it gets expensive really quick. Let me see if I can show some of this. Not a lot that I can show. There is like a foreign name for it, an Italian name for it that I cannot pronounce. Tradire, I can't say it. But let's just say she doesn't wear underwear under that skirt a lot, and but it's she's looking for love, and I've actually found out a good bit about this actress, and she was very into this role, and you can tell like it wasn't like she was just doing this for a paycheck. You can tell she was really into this role, and she kind of became the character, and it has some cool cinematography, and there's just something cheerful about the movie. It just kind of makes you like, cheerful. I don't know. She's so happy. in the movie most of the time. So I don't know. I enjoyed this one. I think this and Caligula is the only movies I own that he was involved in making, but it comes in at number 6 on my list. At number 5 on my list is one that I've talked about several times. I had some of my best friends over here to watch this. Chance and Jen came over, and Chance and Jen have made movies with me. I've known them for a long time. They actually met each other on the set of the movie Dark Road 79, if you have seen that movie that I made. And we watched Haunted Ween. And I've talked about this one a lot recently, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This came in the Homegrown Horrors, like I think Volume 3 set from Vinegar Syndrome. This is a hell of a lot of fun. This is a hell of a lot of fun. Better than I thought it was going to be. It's a Kentucky regional-based horror. This fraternity needs money to pay their frat dues. They end up doing a local haunted house that is the site of a murder from 20 years ago, and the murderer comes back and begins to kill people in the haunted house, and the people who are guests of the haunted house think it's part of the show. It gets crazy. It's fun. It's got your 80s kind of sleaze and fun and trash, but it does have some very cool cinematography moments and some very cool kills in here. I'm thinking about 2 kills in particular, where this man and woman are about to have sex, and they're undressing, and she goes and gets into the water, and there's steam coming off the lake, and it's just beautiful cinematography. And then you see the killer behind her, and then the guy she's with gets killed. There is some really elevated spots, and then the ending will kind of piss you off because they set it up for part 2. So, but I think it was a lot of fun and way better than we were expecting. So Haunted Ween comes in at number 5. At number 4 on my list is Cursed. And you'd be like, you've seen Cursed? Yes, I've seen Cursed. But I have never seen the unrated version of Cursed, which was on here and is much better than the chopped up rated version of Cursed. I liked it even more when I saw that version. But what it did was make me long for Wes Craven's like original vision for this, and him and Kevin Williamson written, Wes Craven directed, and I would have loved to have seen before the studio got in. Sorry, there's like something flying around here. I would have loved to have seen before the studio got involved and wanted him to start cutting it up and making it more whatever his true like sort of hard like scarier vision for this. The unrated is going to be the best that you get of that, but Cursed, it's got a hell of a cast. I mean, you got Christina Ricci, you got Joshua Jackson, you've got Michael Rosenbaum, you've got Jesse Eisenberg, you've got Scott Baio, Milo Ventimiglia, Shannon Elizabeth. You have a lot of what was star power at the time in this movie, and I have fun with it. And the unrated version was new to me, and a hell of a lot better than the theatrical. So Cursed comes in at number 4. Now, kind of keeping with that same tone is a movie that you guys have seen me talk about plenty on here before. I am talking about Needful Things. So yes, I have seen Needful Things a million times. What I have not seen until now, and I just messaged Daniel at Cobwebs about this just a few days ago, is I had not seen the TV version of this. Now, even Stephen King himself, who's not the greatest film critic at all, let's just say that. Even Stephen King himself, though, he said that this version, the TV version, is way better than the theatrical because it puts in stuff that they had to kind of cut out, which is kind of weird because it's the TV version. It adds 71 minutes of runtime. The theatrical is 120 minutes. The TV version is 191 minutes. And it's this weird give and take because some of the content and language is cut out because it's supposed to be on TV. But a lot of what was in the book is added into it. And I'm listening to the book for the first time ever right now on Audible. If they really made this movie, like the book, this thing would be a super hard R rating, like super hard R, because it gets kind of naughty, dirty, and all that stuff involving the devil. But I love both versions of this. But the TV version was a new to me version, 71 minutes of stuff I had never seen, because they call it the TV version. The version never really aired. Most of it, like they still had this weird cut in between. So like the actual TV version that aired was shorter than this. It was somewhere in between these two. So interesting story. Go back and look up the TV version of this, like the whole provenance and how that happened. But it was new to me, and I really enjoyed it. And I don't know which one I would go back and having like watched it now, I would probably just cut to the chase and get the theatrical version. But if you've never seen it, I recommend watching that version at least one time. So Needful Things TV version comes in at number 3 on the list. At number 2 is one that I don't have on physical media, and nobody does, and you're probably going to be surprised to see it this high, but if you saw my review, maybe not. I am talking about the new Salem's Lot on HBO Max. I caught some hate for this in my review. I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it has some problems. It has some cool cinematography to it. Some very like old school, like gothic horror movie cinematography to it. I think it does the small town. I love those small town creepy atmosphere things. You guys know that. I think it's well acted for the most part. And you have to divorce yourself of trying to compare it to Tobe Hooper's Salem's Lot, because the original Salem's Lot, this isn't a remake of that. This is that's a mini series. So it had all this time. It had all these like episodes to make that what it was and add in stuff from the book. And at the time, people bitched about that movie too, because it changed stuff from the book. It changed how Barlow looked, all that kind of stuff. People complained about that then, but then we look back with rose-colored glasses and kind of attack anything new. What I want from this movie is there is a director's cut of this movie out there that is over 3 hours long, adds like another hour plus to this runtime. I want to see that available to us on a 4K physical media release ASAP. That's what I want to see, because I enjoyed this movie. My camera's going crazy again, y'all. I don't know what's up with it lately. I enjoyed this movie. Probably, I guess, a lot more. A lot of people who comment online seem like they hate it, but then like people I know and I think Daniel said something like this too, because he enjoyed it too. People that I know that like review movies tended to like it. But I don't know. I like the movie, and I like Derek Mears has a big part in this movie that was completely cut out. So that's going to exist out there if we get a physical. This movie is crying for a physical media 4K release with the full version. That's what I want to see. But I enjoyed it. It was new, obviously, to all of us. It came in on my list at number 2. At number 1 is another movie that I reviewed. I have a full in-depth review of it. I had seen this movie in the theater when it came out, but again, I had never seen. This was new to me, new to all of us on 4K, the director's cut of The Wolfman. Man, I cannot wait to do my top 4Ks of the year, because there is some good contenders this year, and The Wolfman is a contender for a top 4K of the year. I think like this, Trick or Treat, Conan, Risky Business, Southern Comfort. I'm trying to think of some off my head. This has been a year for some awesome 4Ks. And The Wolfman, the director's cut of this, oh man, the unrated director's cut changes this entire movie. It fleshes out the backstory. It makes it so much better than the theatrical cut. It was new to me. Getting to watch it on 4K, including it on 4K, was awesome. I friggin' love The Wolfman. I'm a huge werewolf movie fan. And this was really good. It was like it was watching the movie for the first time. So I put it on this list, and it comes in at number 1 for my new to me October watch list, my top 10. Let me know what you watched in October that was new to you. Give me some of your favorites. Let me know what you think of my list, the movies that are on here. Have you seen them? What do you think of them? But I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. If you did, please like and subscribe. Y'all, it really does help me out. Helps that algorithm out there, liking and all that stuff. If you want to help support the channel, please consider joining at my Patreon link below or right here on YouTube. Couple dollars a month, special videos, naming lights, all kinds of stuff. And I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.